Professor Nelishia Pillay. I'm from the Department of Computer Science. So my passion lies in artificial intelligence, and that's the reason I hold the chair, the South African Research Chair in Artificial Intelligence for Sustainable Development, and the Joint Multi-Choice Chair for Machine Learning. So where did all this passion come from? So it started years back when I was in high school. I loved maths and I loved problem solving. Homework was fun for me when it came to maths. Later on, towards my, you can probably say what is now grade 10, my dad brought home all these lovely magazines from his work on computers. And then I decided, no, this is what I really wanted to do. If you look at computer science, there's different areas of computer science. All of them involve some problem solving where you love solving problems, but my passion lies in artificial intelligence. Why artificial intelligence? Just think of it. Think of trying to emulate what we do and get a computer to do that as well. I mean, as computer scientists, when we code, we are the intelligence behind that coding. We come up with the algorithms, we write those algorithms, we solve the problems, and basically we're coding it for someone to use. But when you bring in AI, the AI is solving some of those problems for us. So when I first started doing AI, I started off as an applied mathematician. I did my honors in applied maths. As soon as I got to master's, I switched over to computer science because I wanted to move in the AI direction, but there was no one to supervise my AI in that area. So I did something just for the sake of doing a master's. I did something on computer-mediated communications, data comms. And one thing that I learned from that is always follow your passion. You can do anything you want to if you put your mind to it, and you can do it well, but you need to find where your passion lies. So when I moved to PhD, which is now the pinnacle of my studying, I decided I'm going to do something that I'm passionate about. So I put together all the areas that I was interested in computer science, ranging from things like expert systems to compilers, and I found my passion in AI. So when I did start working with AI, third year, I was very disappointed as a third-year student. That is why I switched to applied maths. The field wasn't that developed. I expected all these fantastic things to be done with AI, and we were nowhere close at that stage. We were just at the pinnacle of that iceberg of what AI was going to bring in the future. So when I did my PhD, I would ramble on for hours. No one was in the least bit interested in AI. So I'm very, very excited now that we have this big AI boom, and no matter who you speak to, they know what AI now is. So my PhD did something that I was very interested in. I was a lecturer at that time, and I was passionate about education, but I was also very passionate about AI. So my PhD involved bringing AI together with education and using AI to develop intelligent tutoring systems to help students learn. And being a computer scientist, mine focused specifically on helping people with programming. But since then, the field has grown. Where my group and I differ from most other groups at UP and outside UP is we come up with new AI algorithms. So a lot of the work out there, a lot of the research out there focuses on using AI to solve problems in other fields, and it's actually been fantastic. So this ranges from things like energy, a lot of work now on renewable energy, health, medicine. It ranges, if you look at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, there's 17 development goals that link to different things, innovation and industry. And where AI is different in this day and age compared to where I've come from and what I've done PhD-wise, is a lot of the work was done in labs. A lot of work was done specifically by computer scientists for computer scientists. But now we can actually see that impact going out of the lab. So my research group is a nature-inspired computational intelligence research group. And basically, we take analogies from biology to solve problems in the real world. Like I said, a lot of our work focuses on coming up with new algorithms. And linked to both my chairs, we focus specifically on the Sustainable Development Goals. So the United Nations has set a set of 17 Sustainable Development Goals that need to be achieved by 2030. Yes, you can use some existing techniques to solve those problems, but a lot of those problems are more challenging, and we either need to improve our existing AI techniques or we need to come up with new AI techniques. And that is where my research comes in, and that is where our group comes in. So the work that my research group focuses on is very different from what's out there. A lot of the work that is done with AI looks at applying techniques to solve those existing problems in various areas. So we focus specifically on coming up with new techniques or improving existing techniques. The whole idea behind solving problems is to create sustainable solutions going forward, not just a once-off solution for the particular problem at hand. So what do we do and what is so exciting about it? So the research we do ranges from different types of AI techniques. There's the big boom with large language models. Everybody loves large language models. We see them everywhere. They're used everywhere. But where does this actually come from? So that basically comes from an area that emulates the way our brain works. It's essentially a mathematical model of the brain and its neural networks. And we've actually built on that to try and emulate the things that we do with our senses. So sight, hearing, this is what these neural networks then pick up on. If we look at the other areas that we've worked with, we look at things like Darwin's theory of evolution, where we take analogies from the way evolution works, the way we have been developed as humans. So you started with a population of people that are randomly created or genes that are randomly created. You then build on that to get you stronger. So survival of the fittest. So that's another area that we take analogies from. We take analogies from very simple things like the way an ant works and the way an ant achieves what it does on a daily basis. So that's called ant colony optimization. So all the work we do basically looks at taking analogies from things around us, implementing them in some type of AI technique to solve problems. So what do we do with these techniques and what type of problems do we solve? And where is this impact to the broader world, not just within our research lab? So we've focused specifically on the Sustainable Development Goals. And I'm going to speak a little bit about the goals that we work in particular. I'm also going to speak about what we do, but also what's been happening in the world with these different areas. So health is one of the biggest areas that artificial intelligence has had impact on. And we look at different types of problem within the health sector. So the first one that comes up that we think of is disease diagnosis. So this is something that you can use AI to help predict diseases. When COVID was around, AI was able to predict diseases with an accuracy of about 98%. So it actually has quite a good impact. Other areas in terms of providing counseling, in terms of people that are dealing with anxiety, depression, we have AI that can help with that. So if we look at the impact again that AI has had in terms of providing support, in terms of counseling, in terms of patients that possibly have anxiety, have depression, there's a wide range. So it helps in diagnosis of these mental health diseases. It also helps in providing support for the patient. So building on chatbots, helping chatbots, it's something that a patient can take away, can take home, and can actually use in their own space, in their own time, without having to have regular visits to the counselor. But also the counselor can provide input to that. In addition to this, I'm not sure if you've heard of Da Vinci. That's one of the things I love speaking about. So Da Vinci is a system that helps to do surgeries. So we tend to vibrate as humans, we get tired, and this is where something that's robotic, that's driven by AI, can actually help to overcome the challenges that we face as humans when actually performing these types of operations. So health is one of the areas where there's a lot of impact. The biggest area is innovation in industry, and that has impact on a number of different things. It has an impact on economic development, and there it's actually huge, the impact that AI has had. So some of the areas that we've worked on, we've worked with MultiChoice on solving problems with the broadcasting industry. We've worked with typical routing, scheduling problems. We've also looked at things that happen in industry and how we can help improve efficiency in industry. So again, a lot of impact with what is called SDG 9, which is innovation in industry. We then look at the energy sector. AI has had a huge impact on looking at renewable energy, forecasting loads, seeing where there's a problem. If we move on even further, we look at education, which is also my passion. Being in education, things like learning analytics, which can be used to predict where a student's going wrong beforehand, and then provide support before things go wrong, before a student has to fail or drop out. My passion, as I mentioned before, was intelligent tutoring systems. This is where it all started for me, with doing this for my PhD. And now with large language models, we have large language models driving these intelligent tutoring systems. So that's just a snippet of some of the areas in which AI has had impact. In terms of our impact nationally and internationally, so nationally, we work a lot with other collaborators in terms of other disciplines within UP and outside UP, but also with industry. So one of the things that I felt when I was doing AI in my early days, I felt I was doing this in isolation. It was just me trying to crack the problem, just me trying to solve it. And the problems that we solved were generally benchmark problems that were made available by the AI community. But here's where we're now making a difference. We can actually see what we're doing having an impact beyond the computer science lab, where it's having an impact on people's daily lives. It's having an impact on industry. It's having an impact basically on our economic development, but it's also having an impact on the social side of life. The other area that I have fun with, which is is related to my research, but it's also something that's just very exciting to do, is the whole idea of using AI to create music and using AI to create art. To such an extent that some of the digital artists, some of the pieces they produce actually get auctioned off at auctions. So it's just amazing to see what AI can do. If you go online and you look for this, there's a very, very simple site that shows you how the Mona Lisa can be created. Just using simple AI, with you just interacting with the system, you can get the Mona Lisa. Some of the compositions are just unbelievable. That comes up in terms of music. One of the areas that our group works in is the whole area of evolutionary computation. And internationally, there's an Evo Muse Art conference held yearly. And that conference is fantastic, where you actually have an evening where you hear the music and you see the art that has actually been produced by AI. So one area is in what we do in our daily life in terms of our work, where AI is having an impact, but it's also having an impact on out-of-office aspects that we look at. Health, nutrition, there's also an impact there. So nationally, like I said, we work with industry, we work with collaborators. We are pure computer scientists, so if you enjoy the pure computer science part of it, where you want to come up with new algorithms, you want to develop the field further, that's what my group focuses on. Internationally, we link to various international bodies that promote artificial intelligence. So one of the societies that we belong to is the IEEE Computational Intelligence Society, and that promotes research within AI. In addition to that, it also provides support within AI. So there's also mentoring programs for young people that are up and coming. There's programs that help support people from diverse backgrounds to help them have accessibility to AI, but also to help them develop in their research in AI. And these communities involve students, they involve postgraduate students, both undergrad and postgrad, but they also involve academics, they involve industry. And it's actually a society that almost becomes like family that you can actually belong to that helps drive AI. So what is the purpose of these type of societies? The whole idea is to see where we are internationally in terms of different AI areas, and then actually to take that forward. Another is ACM, American Computing Machinery, where we do a lot of work in terms of developing algorithms. They focus specifically on certain things like evolutionary computation, different areas of AI, and that actually gets taken forward. Our research group and members of staff from UP are very active in that as well. And looking beyond that, there are things like the Duxtool seminar, which 4 computer scientists invite computer scientists to be part of. It's only 4 by invitation. And whenever there's a new hot topic out in AI, people get together from throughout the world, put our minds together for a week, and then try and drive this forward. So one that we will be doing in May this year is the whole idea of using large language models and using large language models with other types of AI, like evolutionary algorithms. So that's basically our research in a nutshell. So now I've told you about what I'm passionate about. I've told you about what we do as a group at UP. But now, what if you are interested in this? So what type of person will enjoy doing this? When I started off, I decided I'm going to be a maths teacher. That's where I started. So from grade 10, maths teacher was what I was going to do. And then as I developed doing maths and solving problems, I realized, okay, I want more than this. And then I saw the big, lovely world of computer science out there. And I decided, no, this is the direction I'm going to. I'm going into computer science. But what made me decide this? And did I make the right decision? So firstly, if you love, there's 2 types of people that enjoy computing. And especially younger people, the people who enjoy playing games, using computers, using things. And there are those that like solving problems, because I know of students have come through to UP that when they were in grade 8 had started already playing with AI techniques, had started implementing neural networks, just love problem solving. So if you're in the second group, this is the right area for you. So you must love problem solving. Using computers is excellent. We create things for those end users to use. We create products that make those end users excited about it. But we get excited about creating those products. So going in, you should have a strong maths background if you want to apply to come to UP. There's lots of open days at UP. There's lots of, I think, EBIT also has a science week linked up that you can actually come and see what we do. You can see what we do in the labs. You can see what happens in the department. But you must have that passion for solving problems, and this is the right area for you. The world is basically your oyster when you have that if you're getting into computer science. Whether you're going to industry or whether you're going further with postgraduate studies, both those directions, that passion will drive you. So industry is one area, and we prepare you for industry, but we also prepare you if you have that passion to take this further. To say, okay, I want to do an honors that will take me to industry and that will take me to postgrad, but we also want to go further and do a master's and do a PhD. That's what happened to me. So I started off third year, I went to all the companies for the interviews, went to honors and decided, no, what industry is providing is not enough for me. Industry is basically providing solutions that I can do for industry, but I can't actually feel my passion. I can't exercise my passion. I want to come up with new things. And that's where, if you have that inquiring mind and you want to find new ways of solving old problems, then the research route is the right route for you. And that's when you want to go into postgrad. So I started off with going to all these industry interviews, and every job I looked at just looked like something, I'm not going to do what I want to. I'm not going to do what I'm passionate about. Then I started with the master's, started with the PhD, and I haven't stopped. I'm still in research and I won't ever leave it. No matter how high a salary industry may offer me, research is where I want to be. So that's a decision that will come later on in life. But getting into UP or getting into your first degree, you must have that passion. You're doing it for every day of your life. You're not going to find out straight away what you're excited about. I was in that situation. So I made sure I chose subjects that could lead to different routes depending on what I'm excited about. For me, the main thing was maths and then computer science. I also threw in some physics and stats just in case I wanted to deviate somewhere else. But I started off with applied maths, right up to honors, switched to computer science. And that will happen. You need to find your passion and what excites you. So coming into UP, like I said, you'll follow the undergraduate route, you'll do honors. Our honors program in computer science allows or provides support for both those students that want to go into industry, but also those that want to go the research route and then want to continue with master's and PhD as well. So now I'm going to speak about what happens when you get to postgrad. So when you get to your honors, like I mentioned, we facilitate those students or provide support for those students that want to go the industry route, but also provide support for those that want to go the research route. So now what happens if you want to go the research route? That's my passion, so I'm going to speak more about that now. So in terms of the research route, if you are coming in with honors with us, you will actually get to do an honors level project. With our research group, we actually provide foundation in terms of both those that, like I said, go to industry, but also those that want to carry on with masters. So sometimes your topic can be related to what you want to do going forward. We also bring in the research methodology. We have our own workshops for our group. So you'll find when you get to the department, there are different groups. Different groups have different research focus. Different groups will have different methodologies for achieving that research. So while you'll do a general module on research methodology, we still have backup research workshops specifically for our group and the type of research that we do, because like I said, it's very special. It's coming up with new algorithms. How do we actually get them out there? How do we show the impact? And it will be specific from honors level. Going forward, you will then go into master's level. We provide support in terms of the equipment you need. We also have a very nice group environment. We have a lab set up for students, but we meet as a group weekly where everyone exchanges ideas, everybody exchanges, and people actually feed off each other. So someone will come up with one idea, but then someone else say, hey, I can actually use that and I can take that forward in my research. Also people that are stuck on things, we will look at those aspects as well, and we discuss it as a group. But our group is very international. So often we have international people coming in that will interact with you and speak to you. We have lots of international visitors on your particular area, but you'll also get the opportunity to present internationally. So our area, like I mentioned, is very niche in the sense that it's a lot of international impact in terms of coming up with new algorithms. So a lot of our work is published and presented at international conferences. We've even had students where work was done at honors level. It was then taken forward and presented at international conferences, and one is actually going to be presented just this year in June. So our work is basically universal. We align it to what's happening internationally. We attend international conferences regularly to actually see what's there, where's the gap, and where we can provide a solution. So our algorithms are not only used nationally within the country, they are also used internationally. So in terms of masters, you get a lot of support. In our research group, we have master's level students, we have PhD level students, and we also have postdoctoral researchers. So once you finish with your PhD, if you realize, okay, I've now done research, I love this, I don't want to go into industry. So we've had people that finish off with their PhD and will go into industry. And there as well, where do you go to? So if you're completing a PhD in research, there are a number of companies that have research labs. There are companies that have innovation labs. And at one stage, I actually wanted to go and work at IBM Thomas Watson Lab. I also wanted to go work at the Google Research Lab. So with your PhD, that opens up those doorways to you. I mean, Microsoft also has these AI labs internationally now. So both the IBM Thomas Watson Lab, the Google AI Research Lab, and the Microsoft Research Labs. These are labs that are in different parts of the world. I think we even have one of those labs locally here in Johannesburg. And your research and working with research, that's where it will take you to. I mean, of course, the other career path is where I am, and I love being here because then I can do what I love doing, and I can impart that knowledge to other people, is getting into academia. That's another route for your research. So we spoke about the prospective student that wants to go the industry route. I've also spoken about the support we can provide for those students that want to go the research route like me. But what about the student that has a passion for both? What if you want to be in industry and you want to do research? So we also provide a platform for that. We work a lot with industries, and essentially how that works is you can work for industry while at the same time doing your research with us. And the research that you do is then related to the problems that you are solving in that particular industry. So we do have industries that we collaborate with on this level. A classic example that's worked very, very well and we've had a fantastic relationship with is MultiChoice. So you get to choose the level at which you want to work. If you want to work on a contract basis for a few hours a week, or if you want to work in full-time employment, and then at the same time, you can actually then do your research with us. And we have a number of students that are in that position, and it's actually worked fantastically for them. So at this point, I've told you what I'm passionate about. I told you what we do. And if this is something that excites you, the next step is then to look at getting into a university like UP. And why UP? So if you look at this area and if you look at doing artificial intelligence and having an impact out there, at UP, we have leading scientists in this area. And they can take you all the way from your third year undergrad module in AI, all the way to doing your PhD and postdoc in AI. So for us, the main thing and the main message to get out there to you, if you're passionate and this is something you really want to do, is we will make today matter so tomorrow matters for you.